Natasha, it is 10 minutes till. Michelle isn't in the green room as of yet. So if she doesn't make it by 10, we are starting on time.
Natasha, it
So I'll
is
just have you come in.
10
I'll
minutes.
start off with you instead.
Yeah,
Michelle
that's totally
is
fine.
in
Okay.
the room as of
That
yet.
plan.
So if she doesn't make it by 10, we are starting on time.
Okay, ladies. So we are at the 5 minute mark. I'm gonna go ahead and pray us in, and then we're gonna get ready to get started. Um, just heads up. Well, let me keep this. As things shift and move, we sometimes have people that may be running late, something may happen. We always have to kind of make some adjustments. So if we do, I normally kind of just message you guys individually in the chat. So that way you guys know, hey, we're about to go ahead and make some shifts, some changes. I may need you to come a little earlier. Thank you so much, Natasha, for starting this out. Uh, or, I may need you to, make some other adjustments. But we're going to keep this train running. So, with that being said, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you for allowing us the opportunity, the space, and the platform to be able to do this, God. We thank you for every soul that will be won today. We thank you for every life that will be changed today. And we thank you for every generational curse that will be broken on today, Father. We thank you for the testimonies as well as the motivation and things that will be given as nourishment to those who come in and listen to each and every one of the speakers that are coming on the platform today. Father, I thank you that you are putting covering mercies around each and every one of them as they drive to and from wherever they may have to go today. God, as they are setting up in their homes, in their offices, God, we just say thank you for them and saying yes to this opportunity in this space. We thank you for Dr. Shamika. We thank you for Wesley for what it is that they are doing, God, with your covering, God, and how they are reaching people and reaching the masses. There is nothing that is too hard for you. And we thank you that anything that they have had on their heart, God, that you are covering it right now in the name of Jesus because of their obedience. God, we thank you for Women Who Lead Connect and how it is maneuvering and shifting the dynamic for what it means to be a woman in leadership who is not just in leadership, but God, she is being led by you first. God, we know that you give the plan, and you had a plan for us before we were even formed in our mother's womb. So God, we thank you for allowing us not only insight into the plan and discernment on how to work the plan, but God, also the strength to see the plan through. Father God, we ask all these things in Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen, amen. So,
Hey, ladies. I'm
hey,
super
hey, hey.
excited that all you guys are here today. I am in Baltimore, as you know, at a speaker intensive. It's about to start in 2 minutes and 57 and 55 minutes. It's starting at the same exact time.
When you leave comments,
Uh,
that you do it to everyone. So everyone.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so like only I saw that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm gonna try to reach in as much as I can, but I just want to say that I love you all, and I just thank you so much for showing up on today. Thank you so much for giving all of your flame and your fire and igniting the fire in the inside of someone on today. And I pray that the some torches are passed, right? Some batons are passed to those who would take the information that you give to build the best person that they can be for the glory of God. So y'all go for a rock hard, okay? And have fun. And I'm going to be reaching back in. All right, y'all. Out to these.
Yes,
If for
ma'am.
any if for any reason we don't start exactly at 10 here.
Oh no, we starting at 10.
No, at 10 here. I'm gonna jump
Oh,
back in so I can kind of hey everybody, welcome to the Building the Best You, spring summit. So
got it, got it.
okay. See y'all.
Yeah. All right, all right, all right, all right. So we are moving and shaking, about to hit that 10 o'clock time. I am super excited. I know normally we play Unstoppable, but I also know sometimes you get flagged. So I, I go back and forth with wanting to play it, but that's all right. That's okay. Super, uber excited. All right, y'all. So few more seconds. Here we go. All right, you guys. It is the Building the Best You Summit. I cannot share with you just how excited I have been about this summit because this year, like previous years, there have been so many things that have really shifted the dynamic of what it means to be a woman in leadership, of what it means to be a woman just trying to survive and thrive every day, right? And then when you add in being a business owner, when you add in being a mother, being a wife, and so many other things, guess what? We move and shake, but guess we also kind of break down a few times. We may have some bumps and bruises and some obstacles in the way. That is why Building the Best You Summit is here. It is here for you to be able to not just tap into the good, the bad, the ugly, but also to see that you are not alone. There are some phenomenal women who will be on the stage today that will share their heart, that will share their hopes, their dreams, but also some of the scars that they've had along the way. And we hope that it will be something that will literally pour into you so that way you're ready to be the best you, not just for everybody else, but be the best you for you. We often hear the statement, you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's so valuable and so valid because in today's society, we have our arms in everything. We have so many hats on our head. But guess what? You can make such a huge difference just by showing up. And then we take it to a whole nother level when you get the building blocks for you to be able to build a firm foundation. So with that being said, I am excited. The speakers are here in the green room. They're excited. And we are about to give you some great insight, but not just yet. I want you to share out the link live.womenwholeadconnect.org. Send that link to 5 people in your contacts. Let them know the summit is getting ready to start. And even if they don't catch the whole thing, tell them to come over and get a little snack. Tell them to come on over while they're on their commute going somewhere. Listen in because these are going to be some great nuggets that can help each and every woman you know. So again, send them the link live.womenwholeadconnect.org. That is the link. Send it to them. Tell them go ahead and register because here's the cool thing about being over there on that site. You can not only see the scriptures because there's a Bible app in there, right? But you can also give a prayer request. And so if there's something that is weighing heavy in your heart at any point during this summit, you can go ahead and put that right in that space. You can also say, hey, high fives, and go ahead and put in those ooh and ah moments that you get from the speakers as they come in as well. Why is this so important? Because again, we want to know that you not only hear, but you hear what's going on. With that being said, I'm super excited to go ahead and tap into our very first speaker, Natasha. How are you, Queen? Thank you so much for saying yes to the platform, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Everybody doing good? I woke up feeling great this morning. When I heard that we were going to talk about building the best you, that was right up my alleyway, just like I'm sure it is for a lot of you who are here. I am someone who is in love with self-growth. So anytime I hear there's a summit, there's a book, there's a show, there's a podcast that's going to pour into me, that's going to tell me something where I can listen to all the juicy nuggets from other speakers, I am there. My name is Natasha Ickes Saman. I'm dropping the Saman. I'll get into that later. Let me reintroduce myself, actually. My name is Natasha Ickes. I'm based out of Oakland, California. And as I said, I woke up this morning feeling really good. Recently, I just purchased a new house. I think in about a month, it makes 12 years since I've opened my own hair salon, and things have been good. But about a year ago, my life looked totally, totally different. So last summer, over the span of like 2 weeks, so much in my life changed. I turned 37, which was exciting. I broke my wrist working out, and I filed for divorce from my husband of 10 years. Now, this is my second marriage. There had been so much pain, so much trauma, so many things that I had gone through in that marriage, and I knew it was time to go. And so when I broke my wrist and I finally had time where I couldn't go to work, right? I couldn't get up and do all the things that I normally do. I said, okay, let me utilize this time and make the changes that I need to make. So I went ahead, I took my kids, I took my cat, I packed up everything I could in my trunk with one hand, and I showed up at my grandmother's doorstep and said, can I stay here for a few weeks until I figure it out? And there was this one night, it was July 20th. I was sitting on my grandma's couch. My kids had just gone to bed in the other room. I'd made them dinner. I'm sitting there and I just broke down crying. I had a moment where I didn't know if I wanted to live anymore. Now, I had felt that in the past, but it had been such a long time. At 9 years old, I stood in my father's kitchen with a knife pressed to my wrist, contemplating taking my own life. At the time, I was raised by my dad. My mom was in and out of my life. And what I found is that for a lot of children who don't have a parent figure who knows how to show love in the way that they need to receive it, it becomes harder for you to know how to love yourself. It becomes harder for you to see your own worth. And so at 9 years old, not even knowing what suicide was, not having the words for that term, I had this feeling of, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know if I can do this. Spoiler alert, I'm still here, so it didn't work out. So fast forward, by the time I'm 16, now at this point, I'm still dealing with the trauma of having a parent in and out of my life. At this point, I'm struggling with addiction. I had always loved school, but my mom lived in motels. So when I did visit her, we were in a not so good area, surrounded by things that were unhealthy. I had experienced sexual abuse and trauma, and I just had so much going on. And again, I reached this place where I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go forward, and I wasn't sure if this was a life that I wanted to continue to live. So this suicide attempt left me hospitalized in the emergency room and later in a mental institution. Now, when I got out of there, I made a decision that I would never again try to take my own life. And I always say this, but choosing to live, choosing not to die didn't mean that I knew how to live. And so my next few years, I was spent homeless and addicted and struggling, sleeping on buses and in coffee shops and not knowing how to move forward in a productive way. I was dealing with somebody at the time, had been with him for quite a few years. We ended up getting pregnant, and I had a decision to make. God will drop a situation in your lap where you have a choice, where you can no longer continue to go down the same path, where you say, I get to go right or I get to go left. I get to go forward or I can keep going backwards. So when I got pregnant, I made the decision to change my life. I enrolled in cosmetology school. I pretty soon after that opened up my own hair salon. Within the first few years as a hairstylist, I was making over six figures. I was financially steady. I was living the life I wanted to live. I was sober. I was the mom that I didn't have that I wanted to be. I reconnected with my own mother. Things got so much better. And so life was pretty good, right? I had my challenges, I had my ups and downs like everybody else, but life was good. I got remarried, right? Because I was married to my daughter's father. I ended up divorcing him because our lives were going in different directions. I got remarried, and I thought that all that trauma, all that pain, all the things I went through were just my past, just something I could put in a little box, tuck it away. Maybe I could pull it out to share or to relate or to talk to somebody. So raise your hand if COVID was life changing for you. Okay, it was life changing for me. Not only did I lose people that I know, not only was I seeing all this strife and pain and trauma and struggles, not only in this country, but worldwide, but also a lot of us were forced to sit down to reevaluate our lives and to see if it was going in the direction that we wanted. Were we living the lives that we were meant to live? Were we stepping into our true, authentic power? Were we creating the legacies that we wanted? Had we let go of our dreams that we had as children? Had we let our innermost hopes and desires die? Had we let the world quiet and dim our light? So for me, yes, I loved the hair salon. Yes, I loved my husband and my children and the life I built, but there was that little voice inside me that whispered, there is more. Sometimes those quiet voices that you hear at night, the thoughts that wake you up at 3 a.m., the little voices in the back of your head, the downloads you get when you're praying, those moments in meditation and in quiet, those little things that just keep replaying in your mind can be the most powerful. So I heard a voice tell me to write a book. I'm like, are you sure? Long story short, I wrote a book. I bared my soul. I shared so much about what I had been through, how I had overcome the trials, the traumas, the tribulations. Um, Growing up in Oakland, California, not only the challenging childhood that I had, but the anger that came out of it, the way I internalized that, and that turned into the addiction and unhealthy behaviors and patterns, but turned into anger and me lashing out. I went to jail multiple times. I was just really struggling in so many different ways. So I write and I share all this, and it changes my life. I start getting asked to speak in different places, and I'm naturally shy. So me getting up and speaking and sharing my story was like, what? I've now spoken in multiple countries. I've delivered 4 TEDx talks. I became a leadership coach going into corporations and helping to encourage and inspire other women. And the conversations that I like to have, because right now people are going through a lot. There are a lot of challenges. People are, whether it's divorce or heartbreak. A friend of mine just lost her son. Somebody else that I know is going through cancer right now, stage 4 cancer at that. And so life continues to happen and we can't control it all, right? So what I like to ask is, who are you outside of your titles? Outside of the job that you have, outside of the title as a wife or a mom or a husband or a CEO, who are you internally? What are those core traits that make you you? Are you a woman of faith? Are you somebody that shows empathy? Are you somebody that leads with love? Who are you? Because you can carry that with you throughout all the trials, throughout all the different places that you end up in your life. The next thing is, what are you going through? What is it that is your challenge right now? And understanding that it's happening for a reason, right? Growth doesn't happen when we're comfortable. We are put in these situations so that we can change. My marriage was so uncomfortable for about 4 years before I left. It wasn't until the pain of staying was more than the pain of leaving that I actually changed my life. And since then, amazing things have happened that I couldn't even have imagined, right? So, what are you going through? Where is it trying to take you from? What is it trying to save you from? And what is it trying to push you towards? Last 2 questions, because we have so many other amazing speakers that want to come up here. But where do you want to go? Just take a moment and be quiet. And then take your journal and write, where do you want to go? What do you see for your life? What is it what has God implanted inside you that's waiting to come out? And then most importantly, what do you need to do to get there? Partner up with a mentor, get in a group with some like-minded women. Keep showing up to places like this where people drop little nuggets into your spirit, and then start to take your notes and to take action. Make sure, as I always say, faith without works is dead, right? So God put the dream inside of you and he's going to help you get there, but you have to take action in order for that to happen. So I like to be conscious of time. I have 1 minute left. So I'm going to hop off. I'm going to let whoever else is ready to come up and to speak and to pour into us step onto this stage. But I want to leave you with this one thought. Oprah always says, wisdom comes from the wounds. I'm probably changing the words a little bit, but instead of getting stuck in the story, instead of getting stuck in where we came from, look at it as a blessing. Look at it as a chance to move forward, to be better, and to step into the next better, most amazing version of you. Thank you guys so much. Happy Saturday and enjoy the rest of your day.
Oh my goodness, Natasha, such an amazing message, because you're right. There are so many people that are going through so many things, and we don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Those of you who are on the East Coast, you know that we just recently had a bridge collapse from a boat crashing into it. Like, you don't know, and we can't plan for everything, but we can plan how to bounce back. And so thank you so much for being so transparent with your story, because I know that there are women that are just like, okay, that's me. That's my story. That's what I had to endure, or that's what I'm enduring. And if I can see that somebody else got out, then I know I can get out as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your yes. Y'all, listen, I told y'all we're starting off with fire. I explained it to you before we started. Listen. So if you don't know, this is a summit where you're going to want to take notes. This is a summit where you're going to want to go, okay, what was that person's name? So that way you can go ahead and whatever was that aha, that nugget that you got from them, you go ahead and shout them out online. Tag them in it, Instagram, Facebook. They're even in the chat over there on live.womenwholeadconnect.org. So that way you can connect with them there as well. Why? Because again, when you understand that there's other women who have been where you are, who are where you're trying to go, that's the ones that you want to definitely connect with. So I'm super excited because we're going to get ready for our very next speaker, who is Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Good morning, and thank you so much for coming and speaking on the platform.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle P. Jones, and I am so excited to be here. My prayer this morning before I started getting ready for this awesome event was to make sure that everything that I had to say aligned with what was being spoken on. So, Natasha, thank you so very much, because you kind of set me up perfectly for what it is that I'm going to be talking about. So when I was looking at this, I began to think about who is Michelle. Born into a family of two ministers, so I'm a PK. Stuck in the idea of expectations, trying to live up to what everybody else thought that I should be. And somewhere in the transition of time, I never discovered who I was. And so back in 2012, something happened that shook up my life, that took me on a journey that I had not planned on going on, but it opened me up to discovering who I am. In 2012, I was arrested for a crime I did not commit. And I was imprisoned for 4 months in our county jail before I was released without any charges. But that wasn't the key to it. That was the caveat. That was the break in time that happened for God to get my attention so that I could begin discovering who I am. So I'm going to take a minute and I want everybody to answer this question. Whom do you say that you are? You can put it in the chat. You can write it down on your paper, but I just want you to take a second and I want you to answer that question for yourself. It's okay if you don't know. You can put down, I don't know. But I want you to seriously answer that question. And even if you can't answer it right now, I want you to think about it as I continue sharing with you what it is that I believe we need to discover in order to tap into who we really are. During those 4 months when I was in the county jail, I saw people coming and going. It was like they were using the jail as a revolving door. And I kept asking God, why am I still here? And he began to speak to me to let me know that he needed me to know and be certain and to accept who I am. Go forward a few more years. In 2017, like Natasha, he told me to write it in a book. Now, mind you, I told you that I'm a PK. I've been in church all of my life, and I know how church folk are. And I was like, I'm not going to write it because I'm not going to give them that much ammunition to use against me and to use to judge me. After fighting for about 3 weeks, I gave in and wrote the book, Walking on Water in My Stilettos. how God strengthened my faith walk. And in the midst of writing that book, the healing that he started in 2012 came full circle in 2017 while I was writing the book. I think sometimes we fail to realize that healing comes in ways that we never anticipate. But it comes in waves that we need it to come in order for us to tap into exactly who we are and what it is that we are to be doing in this phase of our lives. As I began to think about this, there was one thing that I asked God, and I was like, okay, I'm not understanding. I was incarcerated for 4 months for a crime I didn't commit. I had people talking about me really bad. I had folks sharing information about the incarceration that they should not have shared, people that I respected and that I loved. And I was really hurt behind it. And what God spoke to me was, he said, you need to learn how to forgive unconditionally. And you need to understand that it was all necessary. So me being who I am, I'm like, what do you mean it was necessary? I was incarcerated for 4 months. I lost everything that I had. My kids stopped speaking to me. My family was coming after me as if I had done something to them. Friends had dropped me. Folks were not answering my calls. I was isolated and alone. But even in the midst of me being isolated and alone, those 4 months in the county jail, God began to develop a relationship with me that helped me to discover who I am. I had no distractions. I had nothing but time. And so me and God on my bunk began to build an intimate relationship that helped me to discover who I am. In Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 through 20, Jesus asked the disciples a question. He said, whom do men say that I am? So they came back and they gave different reasons and different versions of what people have said. But what they didn't say is the reason that I'm sharing this is because what the other people said resonated with me. So I began to accept that and take that on as a belief as to who you are. The thing that we get caught up in sometimes is that we begin to allow flesh and blood, to allow earthly things to identify who we are. But if you continue reading in that same verse that I gave you, Matthew 16, 13 through 20, Peter came back and he answered the second question that Jesus asked. And he said, whom do you say that I am? And Peter said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus responded to him that flesh and blood did not reveal this unto you, but my Father which is in heaven. So the very first point that I want to make sure that you get is that when you are seeking your identity, it has to come from the individual that you first had a relationship with. And that was the relationship that you had prior to you becoming a human being. And that's with the Creator God. If he created us, isn't he the best person to go to discover and to uncover and to reveal who we are? The second point that I want to bring is in that same verse. Jesus responds to Peter and he says that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So after he clearly identified who Christ was, Christ turned around and identified who he was and what his purpose is. So not only did Peter get an identity lesson in the midst of that encounter, but Christ also identified his purpose. So the last thing that I want to leave with you is after you go down to verses 17 and 18, Jesus continues his conversation with Peter, and he says, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. So why do I bring that up? Very easily. That once we tap in and we seek God out for who we are, our identity, not only will he give us our identity, but he will also show us what our purpose is. Our purpose that is connected, as Jeremiah 1 and 29 says, to our expected end. So as we are tapping into that, he begins to tell us the benefits that are afforded to us if we tap in and discover who we are from the Creator. We'll get our identity, our purpose, and then we'll get benefits. As American Express always used to say on their commercials, membership has privileges. And I'm here to declare to you today that once you discover who you are, you can fully tap into the benefits that God has for you. I am here today as a living example of that very thing, of being able to spend that time alone with God, not by choice, trust me, not by choice, but by divine assignment. And as a result, what began to happen is I discovered my purpose, and now I walk in it. Not only am I an author, I am an international best-selling author, an award-winning author, as well as an award-winning writer's coach and independent publisher. When we tap into what God has for us, we begin to see who we are and what it is he has to offer for us. So I pray that you are able to answer that question for yourself. Whom do you say that you are? God bless you.
Such amazing nuggets, guys. I hope you guys were taking notes because remember, we talked about this. Make sure you are writing things down. Make sure you are writing the speaker's name down so that way you can go ahead and reach back out to them. Shout them out on social media. Let them know what it is that they said that resonated with you. I know one of the things that really stood out for me was that, listen, when you tap into God, you also tapping into some benefits. And baby, I can definitely tell you that that has been such an amazing experience because the benefits that God has for us are far beyond what we can even imagine for ourselves. So that really stood out for me because I've seen it over and over and over again, how he has showed up and shown out when it comes to him blessing me in ways that I never even thought he could. I never even thought about asking for some of the blessings. But again, your yes is always so significant because it is seed in the ground. Know and understand that. So I did see some people in the chat saying hello, shouting out where they've come from, where they're chiming in from. Don't forget, share out the link live.womenwholeadconnect.org. Share it out. Let them know the conference has started, the summit has started, and they can come and get these nuggets for sure. Y'all, we're not done. This is just the beginning. This is just the starting point. Why is it so important for us to build the best YOU? Here's the thing. Everything else is built upon the foundation that you set. I'm going to say it again. Everything else is going to be built upon the foundation that you set. So the foundation that you set last year, this year is being built upon. The foundation that you set this year, next year is being built upon it, and so on and so forth. And not only will you be able to build upon it, your children will be able to build upon it. your children's children will be able to build upon it. So again, when it comes to building the best you, it starts with you building that foundation because that's how you continue to expand. Super excited, y'all. We are still moving and shaking and have yet another speaker that is coming up. And so thank you so much, Michelle, for your yes. We appreciate you coming in and being a part of the summit this year. And next up is Miss Gia. How are you this morning? And thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the summit.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Oh no. On my end, I'm seeing you and I'm seeing myself. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Father, Father, Father. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead until this works itself out. I'm not sure what is happening.
Okay.
Alrighty, a pleasant good day, beautiful, beautiful people. I apologize for the inconvenience with my camera. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I will share nonetheless. I just want to say thank you so much to Natasha and Michelle for just setting me up perfectly. I'm loving how I'm loving how our messages are very, very similar and just kind of, just easing its way into each other. So I just want to thank you for the question, Michelle, for whom do you say you are? And Natasha, for who am I? And my question for you is, how do you show up for you? Okay, for a very, very long time, I grew up in the island of Tortola, British Virgin Islands. And, you know, of course, like everyone, different things has happened that really shaped me into the woman that I am today, that really caused me to be fearful, just live in fear, live in self-doubt, live in that confidence that was lacking for so long. And I think for me, one of the things that resonate that Michelle just talked about was trust, basically in a connection with God. And with that, I want to just share something that I was talking to my friend about the other day. And I was talking about trust in Christ. And I said, connection with Christ and connection with our parents are very, very similar because guess what? If every single day we know we have a plate of food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? We have clothes on our backs. We have shelter. We're provided for our parents, but they never had a conversation with us. We have no idea who our parents are. We have no idea how they think, how they operate, how they move, how they feel, and we're not able to share ourselves with our parents. And then one random day, your mom or dad says to you, "Hey, Gia," or "Hey, Michelle," or "Hey, Natasha, listen, if something is going on with you, I want you to be able to trust me and share with me. I can help you." You know, would we be willing to just share our darkest hurt to our parents, knowing that we've never had a conversation? Absolutely not. That's the same thing with our Father. Our Father in heaven, He wants us to come to Him. He wants us to create a connection with Him. He wants us to be able to trust Him in knowing who He is. And He is Alpha, He's Omega, He's the beginning and the end. And He's our dad, He's our best friend, and we can come to him in these times of trouble. When I was age 7 years old, I had a great uncle who molested me from time I was 7 years old. And growing up, I didn't realize how much that traumatized me in a way where I acted out in that way in my relationships, where I would not, have public relationships. I would always be very secretive. I would always be very, well, not secretive, but more private. I wouldn't share my love with the world or with persons, with people, my friends. One day I was thinking about it, like, why don't I do that? Why? And it dawned on me that my great uncle used to say, I love you, but we can't tell anyone. I love you, but you have to keep it to yourself. Right? And I had to choose. I had to choose whether I let that incident hold me back. And then of course age 15, 8 years later, the same thing happened only with a cousin, and it was penetration, and that was my first time. And from that point onward, I dated only women, only women. I actually was to the point where I wanted to marry a woman. Because I knew that I felt safer with the female sex, if that makes sense. I felt like, okay, the woman can't hurt me in this way, and I acted on that. I acted on that, well, hey, God, and I got angry with God. I said, well, God, if you loved me, why put me through this? Why do this? Why do that? Why did I have to go through this? And God said, trust me. Trust me. And now I'm able to speak to young women from the ages of 12 to 17 who went through or is going through these same things. And I'm able to guide them through it in a way where I completely understand. God is perfect and his timing is perfect. And everything he does is strategic and everything he does is perfectly done. And I'm learning now to trust God. And let me tell you guys, this is the first time. Well, I got rebaptized in 2020, and this is the first time that I feel safe. I feel safe. And it's only because I now feel safe in God. And I feel like I can trust him now. So when he said move, I move. I went to him and I was like, well, Lord, listen, I need to know, well, why you don't hook me up? Why you don't, or when I come to you to ask you for things, you don't come true for me. But how can I receive what I'm asking for if I'm not being who I need to be to receive these blessings? We have to strip sometimes. We have to strip of pride. We have to strip of ego. We have to strip of things that of the flesh to really connect with Christ, for us to truly know what we should do, how we should step in our purpose. So the question is for you, how do you show up for you? How are you being intentional with you? And how are you communicating with God? And are you exuding your Godfidence when you step out? You know, in 2017, I had a flat line right here in Tatola. And one of the doctors came to me and said, Miss Fraser, if you don't know Christ, find him now because I took my gloves off on you. I took my gloves off on you. We have to be intentional with our God because God has always been intentional with us. And he has never failed me. And that really kind of brought me to the point where I wanted to write my book as well called Let Glow, My New Mantra. For a very long time, I suffered with self-esteem issues. I grew up in color with colorism going on, where dark skin wasn't the in vogue. I wasn't thick enough, so everything was. I always felt like everything was wrong with me, but I had to accept me in knowing that God, when God created me, He created something beautiful, and He said, "Well done." This was done, well done. I am beautifully made. And I had to build myself up piece by piece. So stay golden because I had to tell myself, Gia, stay golden. And that meant stay in love. That meant stay in peace, stay high vibrational, stay in God. And the moment I did that day in and day out, the easier it became. The easier it became to be honest about how I felt. The easier it was for me to be authentic in who I was. The easier it was for me to say, I love God and be unapologetic about it. Because of course, when you're Christians, you know, it's like, oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, but it's the best thing ever. I promise you, it's the best thing ever. So I don't want to talk and talk and talk. But again, I apologize for my camera not coming on. I'm not sure what happened there. But thank you so much for allowing me to speak and share. And I look forward to seeing each and every one of you. God bless. Enjoy.
So it's so significant and interesting. One of the things, as somebody who has done virtual and in-person events, is anything can happen, right? You never know what's going to happen because you can't plan for every single thing. But one of the most significant things that God was sharing as you were talking was that when you said confidence, I was just like, that's it right there. Because when we think about confidence is us being able to step in the room and not worry about what we look like. It's us being able to step into a conversation, to be seated at a table and not look at our education status, our marital status, how many kids we have, the things that some people look as wealth, the things that some people look as you being at a higher level. God chose that moment to show, guess what? I don't need people to see what you look like in that moment. I need them to hear you. And there's something on the inside of you that is so much more powerful than what they will see, that sometimes them seeing you is the problem. Sometimes that's what causes people to not get what it is that they need. So that was so significant. And those of you that are in the chat, I hope you caught that. I hope you caught that, because there are so many times where we look at what they're wearing. We look at what kind of earrings they got on, what kind of shoes they got on. Is their makeup done? Is their hair done? We're looking at all of the different things, but we miss the message. We miss the moment. And then there's even times where we miss the seed that we were supposed to be given so that we could sow it in our own garden. So Gia, I want you to come back on camera because I want them to see you. I want them to see who was speaking to them and who was giving them this amazing information, if you're able to. If it lets you.
So I'm back. Can you see me now?
I sure can.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for your patience.
Listen, I've been doing events for years, and when I tell you anything and everything can happen, we did an event with Dr. Shamika just a little bit ago. And while we were at live event and the electricity went out, and we kept going. That says something so valuable about the person that shows up and says, I'm going to give despite what's going on, because I know that there's somebody that needs it. Thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, because again, there are so many people that are scared to tell the story. There are so many people that are scared to have the conversation, that again, they looking for you to look a certain way, say a certain phrase, do a little dance, and they're looking for all of the different things, and they miss that. They miss the seed. I hope you guys don't miss the seed. Matter of fact, make sure that, again, you're sharing this out, because this seed is not just for you. It's not just for you. We often talk about tending to the garden of our heart. Guess what? It comes with sometimes getting new seeds and getting seeds that can be accommodated in the season that you are in. Ooh, I hope y'all caught that. Getting the seeds that can accommodate to the season that you are currently in. They don't grow pumpkins all year round. They don't grow apples all year round. There's a certain season for it. And this summit is giving you the seed that you need to sow in the season. I'm not going, I can preach it if I want to. I ain't going to do it to y'all. But thank you so much, Gia. I appreciate you so much. Because, guys, that was what it was. When you think of confidence is you showing up in the room. And guess what? It ain't about the title sometimes, because your title won't get you in the room all the time. It's not about your bank account all the time, because your bank account won't always, because sometimes, I believe me, I've been in the room in conversations where my bank account didn't align with the people that was in the room. But my message did. But my presence did. And it's so valuable for you to understand it. Y'all be doing some things, doing some things. So I just want to show you guys something really quickly, and then we'll go ahead and get to the very next person. And that is this right here. If you have not heard, Dr. Shamika Latte and the Women Who Lead Connect community is going down. We will be going on a 4-city tour, you guys, 4-city tour starting in June. So, very first city is California. California. Next is Texas. Next is Georgia. And then we ending out the year in St. Thomas. Now, those of you that were in St. Thomas last year, you know how amazing that event was in person and virtually, because we went ahead and we tag team you guys. So you guys got to see some amazing things going on. But this year, we may be coming to a city that is close to you, that part. And so here's the thing. There's some significant things that happen when it comes to Dr. Shamika Latte. And one of the events, there was something that was so interesting. And if you've been following her for a while, then you'll know what it was. But I've seen her show up authentically her, and show up in as mommy mode, in wife mode, in Dr. Shamika Latte mode, in speaker mode, in empowerment mode. I've seen her show up in such an amazing way. But guess what? You being here is you showing up as well. So we're going to have a way that you can potentially win a ticket to one of these tour dates. So you got to stay tuned, stay listening in. Again, don't forget to share it out, live.womenwholeadconnect.org, so that way other people can join in. But we are going to gift ticket to some of these locations, and I'll give you more details about how you can potentially get a ticket to one of these locations soon. So again, that's California, Texas, Georgia, and St. Thomas. Listen, and that's just this year. There's no telling how many cities and states we will be in for 2025. So you want to make sure that you are in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. And you can either do so in person or virtually, but I'm telling you, being in person is a whole different other experience. So I just had to make sure that I shared that with you. Again, I'll share it again, and I'll give you the details on how you can go ahead and tap in to potentially get your ticket to one of these tour dates. But even if you don't win a ticket, the tickets will go on sale soon. So you'll get that information as well. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and jump right into our very next speaker. Oh my goodness, Dr. Shamika is in the room.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Dr. Shamika Latte, the founder of Women Who Lead Connect. I'm super excited about being here. I'm just super excited about all of the women speakers who showed up today and those who will also be on tour. Honestly, I cannot do this without any one of them. Excuse my voice, it's not this deep, but it does sound kind of sexy, right? Listen, I've been having some pour into me time. I was in Virginia Beach at a women's summit, actually supporting one of my girlfriends for over the last 20 years, as she is in a pastoral position and ministering to women in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I'm now in Baltimore supporting another woman who leads for her speaker intensive. So I'm super excited to have Alta Beach. Alta Beach, you have rocked our in-person leadership empowerment summits, and also our Building the Best You summits. And I'm so grateful for you. Let me let you guys know, Women Who Lead Connect is a professional organization of women, all type of women from different backgrounds who come together to support the next woman who wants to lead and the next woman who is leading, reminding you that you have purpose, that you have power, and that you are significant in the earth realm. And we want to take everything that God has breathed in us. Thank you, sweet and Holy Spirit, to breathe that back out into the next woman so that you can be healed and successful in your business and also your personal brand, which is you. You are a brand all by yourself, baby. You are powerful. You are bold. Your story is amazing, and we need it to be told, because I realized before I became this founder of Women Who Lead Connect, before I became a pastor, before I became this mom of five and this wife, I had women who I would sit next to on the couch, and my words would help her heal. My presence will make her feel whole and make her not feel isolated, but complete. And I believe that's what we do. And that's what God gives us for the next woman. So I'm excited for everybody who's listening from all over the world. I'm excited for all of our speakers who are coming from all over the world, all over the nation, from the islands of St. Thomas, from California, from Florida, Indiana, Chicago, DC, Maryland, Delaware. You got to hear what I'm saying. Like, we're coming together because we're on assignment. And like Altavi said, the assignment tour is coming up in June, 2 months from now, July, September, and in December. I want you guys to join us. We are giving away some tickets. So if you know anything about Women Who Lead Connect, you got to go to the website, figure out some things, because we're giving the tickets away to those who can answer the questions. Listen, I love you. I am here. I'm going to come back in here after I finish doing some more leading, right? Some more leading. And I love this because one of the things that I did to help build the best me, that I built my brand around my life and not my life around my brand. I can no longer be stressed trying to meet the demands of the world and the demands of people. I had to meet the demands and the assignment that God gave me. And He allowed me to do it in a way that I can be anywhere and that women like you can help me rock and roll in your area of expertise. So I thank you on today. I thank you for showing up, because when you show up, you truly go up. When you show up, you confirm why I founded Women Who Lead Connect. But one thing I know, that I did not start Women Who Lead Connect for myself. That I started Women Who Lead Connect to make sure that the woman who's at the top and the woman who wants to get to the top is not broken at the top. That she is not leading and bleeding, but she is operating strong. That she's operating strong and reminded that, sis, you can do it. Because we are just not staying here and speaking stuff. We are living the life that we preach. So I want to let you know, join us on tour, but join us in community, because this right here is personal. And we're glad that you are a part of the plan and a part of the purpose. Thank you, Altavis. I'm going to send this right back over to you. I love you all, and stay connected.
And we love you as well, Dr. Shamika. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh my goodness, that is not Dr. Shamika's voice. But I'm super excited that she has been able to go ahead and show up for the next woman, as well as, again, encourage them to continue to show up for themselves. So that is so very, very valuable. So I'm excited because we're going to dive right into our very next speaker. Thank you so much, Heidi, for your yes. I appreciate you coming in, and you have the stage.
Wow. You ladies have blessed me. Good morning from chilly Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Heidi. I'm an author. You know what? Let me just get into the word. My name is Heidi. Listen, on March 31st, 1990, I sat straight up in the bed in a hotel room in Boston and looked at my hand and asked myself, what in the world did you do? You see, the night before, I married somebody that I already knew that I probably should not have married. I married for all the wrong reasons, needy, low self esteem, all of those things. And I can remember my mother kept asking me the day before, are you sure? And I kept saying, yeah, I'm sure. Um, and I should have listened to my mom. You know, sometimes when we want something so bad, even when we know it's outside of the will of God, and we get asked a question, we find reasons to do what we want to do, even when we know it's not right. But this is what I love about God. Even when we make a decision that we know is outside of the will of God, and because it's our flesh that wants it, His grace is so amazing that even in those moments, I want you to hear me, even in those moments, He doesn't leave us. And so, why am I bringing this up? Because I want to bring a scripture forward that taught me some things along the way. And it's Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. And it says, for we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which He prepared in advance. And so this is powerful because in that time that I was married to this individual, I experienced domestic violence. And no, he didn't hit me, but he was very emotionally abusive until every time something happened, I found myself twisted myself up to figure out how to make this marriage work. Because now I married this person, I knew that I shouldn't. And oh, by the way, now I'm in ministry, right? I'm in ministry, and we hear all the time, oh, you can't divorce, you can't divorce, you can't divorce. And so I twisted myself up trying to figure out how to make this marriage work, right? I had never I had always suffered from low self-esteem. Let me say that. Um because of things that happened in childhood, I was called ugly a lot of the times. I was, called bookworm or whatever it was. I was never good enough for anybody, right? And then on top of that, I dealt with daddy issues. My own father passed away when I was 6 years old. And I remember my mother coming home and telling us that daddy passed away. And my response was, um, I didn't believe her. And so, because our life changed after my dad passed away, I became angry. And so, all of these things led me to marrying somebody I should not have married. So here I am in ministry, and I'm in this abusive marriage, and I'm broken, and I'm hurting, and home is crazy, and I'm dying in ministry, but able to minister life to other people when I myself was dying, and wondered, God, does anybody see me? I'm broken. I walked up on a conversation of people talking about me, talking about my life. They don't know that in that moment, Natasha, I could have gone home and taken my own life. It had gotten so bad at home right? And he stole everything because not only was he emotionally abusive, but he was also addicted. And so he took everything, right? It got to the point where I had to hide my credit card in my drawer at work. Oh, by the way, did I say I was in a successful career with the crazy going on at home? We lived on bootleg electricity for 2 years, had no food, and I was ashamed to call my mother and ask her for help because I knew I did not listen to her. All of this is going on, and in the middle of it, or towards the end of it, I'm praying, God, do you see me? Do you understand? Do you see me? And God said to me, I'm going to give you a strategy. Because I was ready to bounce, you guys. I was ready to leave, but conflicted because I was in ministry and sitting in prayer. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation in your life where you don't even have the words to pray, but you are sitting in wherever you pray, whether it's in your bathroom, whether it's in your car, wherever, and the tears are streaming, and you hear God speak to you. God said, I'm going to give you strategy. And in the middle of that, God said to me, I'm going to show you how this is going to work. And so while God was showing and speaking, the husband said to me, because God said, no, I want you to do this. He gave me strategy. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And I want you to do that. And I did what God said. And in the middle of that, the husband said, this was 1998. The husband said, I'm going to my aunt's house. I'll be back. He has not ever come back. That just started a whole host of other abandonment issues and if I'm honest, a nervous breakdown because now not only was I failed in marriage, didn't feel like I was good enough in ministry, and now I had somebody walk out on me and leave me broke and destitute and about to lose my home. God, you got a sense of humor, but I promise you, I am not laughing. And in the middle of it, I realized through developing and continuing to be in the face of God, I realized this scripture, but we are God's workmanship. And so, listen, workmanship means that we are a custom creation, that there is no one else like me or like you. There is no one else that God can put in the situations that we've heard this morning and come out on the other side to be able to sit here and tell you that you can survive. Nobody, right? We are God's custom creation, right? He didn't design us like anybody else. We are tailor made. We cannot be replicated. And so when I thought about this theme of building the best you, I thought about something Tabitha Brown said. She said, this is a you season. In other words, it's time for us to take the time to step back and figure out who God said that we are. God said to me this morning while I was thinking about this, that we're focused on the past when God said, I got this. I just need you to take a step back and sit in this you season. All the mistakes, they don't matter, right? Because they brought us to where we are today. Sis talked about the situation being necessary. Yeah, the struggle was necessary. Why? Because it brought us to where we are today. It was necessary. It happened to us, but it was not ever about us. It was about giving us a story so that we can share it with somebody else so that they know, look, sis, You're not alone. I've been there too. I've been there. I know what it's like. Take a step back and sit in this you moment, right? Sit in this you season. It's all about you. It's not about being who everybody else wants you to be. It's not about, living up to everybody's expectation. Because here's the truth of the matter: we've already done that, right? We've already lived up to everybody's expectation. We've already done what everybody expected us to do. And if I can talk to my sisters that are 40 and over, you know what I'm talking about. We've already done that. And now it's about us. It's about life being about who God called us to be. So sit in it, right? Allow God to fill your heart and your spirit. Allow him to speak to you concerning who you are. You see, because when I was in that, I woke up one day and didn't know who I was. And I had to sit in my you moment and allow God to speak to me and to heal me and, teach me how to forgive. I can remember sitting in a park in Boston in the snow, crying, and in the middle of the tears, something came out of my mouth that I never would have thought come out of my mouth. God, forgive him, for he knows not what he did. Not help me forgive him, but God, forgive him. Right? Forgive him. Because you got me, forgive him. Right? And so sit in your moment and allow God to heal you and to pour into you. And in the middle of sitting in your moment, I want you to ask yourself something. How do I embrace who I am? Because who you are today is not who you'll be next week, next year, 5 minutes from now, at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Embrace the now and then walk into the new. That's what I wanted to share with you today, my sisters. It's a you season. Walk in it. Thank you.
I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness, y'all. I, if you have not been taking notes, I'm not sure that you were really present. You got to make sure that you write down some things and not just take the notes just to write things down, but take the notes so that way you can implement what is being shared. So that way you can take the vision, because the speakers already wrote it down. Take the vision and run with it. That's what you're here for. Whenever you attend an event, that should be your focus and your mindset. So I'm here to take the vision and run with it. Whatever the vision is that I'm going to get to that, I'm here to take it and run with it 100%. That was so powerful. So powerful because again, and I had to laugh because when you said women in their 40s, I was like, here we are. There is a different mindset when you get to a certain age. I mean, like with every season, there's a different mindset. But man, I can breathe a different way. All my children are grown, they're all adults. It's a different space to be in and navigate. And, you know, even you're still going to have even more spaces to navigate and learn and understand and master and then go into another one. But guess what? We get the privilege to do so. And I know sometimes taking that next step is so hard. It is. Sometimes taking that next step is so hard, but we get the privilege to be able to do so. And we don't understand how much of a privilege it is until we look back and we see that somebody else had the opportunity to take those same steps and they didn't. They didn't. We look at so much that's going on today, and there are people every single day who did not open their eyes. Oh, just such an amazing feeling to understand that I have opportunity I have choices. Everything may not be perfect. Everything may not be the choice I want. Sometimes you wanted the barbecue chicken instead of the fried. I get it. But you have choices. And it's so significant for you to understand. Y'all, this has been amazing. That was such a powerful word, right? Listen, the chat, I know that y'all are like, y'all are, blowing it up over there on the live.womenwholeadconnect.org, but the chat over here in the green room is blowing up too. Because guess what? We are here as women who have been through so many different valleys, mountains, hilltops, and guess what? We are still here. We're still here. You're still here. And that makes such a big difference. So, we rocking and rolling. So I'm about to give you guys the question for you to be able to go ahead and get this ticket. So here it is. This is how we're going to set it up. So you're going to email your answer to, and let me make sure I got the email correct. Okay. Nope, that ain't it. I want to make sure I'm sending y'all to the right email. Let's do that. Let's make sure that's happening. Because, woo, baby. All right. Now we got it. Okay. So I want you to. No, that's not it either. There we go. Executive assistant at Women Who Lead Connect dot, is we doing .com or .org? Hold on. Let me make sure. It's .com. Okay. So executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com is going to be where you send the answer to this question. So one of the very first summits that I did with Dr. Shamika Latte, she had just given birth to baby number what? So email your answer to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. One of the very first summits that I did with Dr. Shamika, she had just given birth to baby number what? Send your answer to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com for your opportunity to win a ticket to one of the 4 stops for the tour that will be starting in June. So again, during one of the first summits that I did with Dr. Shamika, she had just given birth to baby number, and send your answer to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. So with that being said, we're going to roll right into our very next speaker who is already in the room, and that is Miss Toy. Now, if you've seen some of the Women Who Lead Connect events, you've seen her sing and heard her sing. You've seen her on stage. You've also seen her behind the scenes. When I tell you this woman has been a phenomenal cornerstone to what Dr. Shamika Latte is doing when it comes to Women Who Lead Connect, it has been phenomenal. And she continues to show up. Her message is so powerful when you hear her testimony. And she just exudes being there to help other women step forward and step out of their comfort zones 100%. So, Miss Toy, how are you this morning? Thank you so much for your yes, and you have the stage.
Hey, honey, how are you? Great morning, everybody. It is so amazing how you just talked about me singing. I am right over here on the other side, guys. That's what I'm going to open up with before I start. So I pray that this blesses you on this morning because, as I wake up, I'm thanking God because somebody did not wake up this morning. So I'm thanking God and I'm grateful that I've been given the opportunity to be able to come and gracefully bless this community of women and men who are watching So the name of this song is Grateful, and I hope it blesses you. Oh yes. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I am grateful for the things that you have done. Yes, I'm grateful for the victories we've won. I could go on and on and on about your words because I'm grateful, so grateful, grateful to praise you, Lord. Flowing from my heart are the issues of my heart is gratefulness. I just wanted to bless y'all with that on this morning. I pray to God that you guys are blessed and that you are grateful that God woke you up this morning in your rightful minds and in your rightful places. Oh, I am so, so, so excited, not just for myself, but I'm excited to be amongst an amazing community of people that God has allowed us all to come together. I just want to first say that you guys, everybody on here, for those of you that's watching, you have a story to tell. And I thank God that I am here to tell my story because only I can tell it. Other people can add or take away from it, but only I can give you the full version of what I've gone through, what I've overcome, and where God has me now. So my title of my message is You Can Get Out. I am a firm believer that God will bring you from where you are, from in the back all the way to the front. I am a living testimony. And just to dive in about who Toy Dixon Fuller is, I am this young girl, young woman who was born and raised in Cabrini Green. And we know that society and the just the names that they give the projects, but I am here to tell you that I've lived it, I breathed it, I am alive to tell it, and it was one of the most amazing times of my life to be able to be born inside of what they called the hood, and it was most definitely the hood. We had our men and women that will cover us, protect us, all of those good things that you don't get to hear because we know that it speaks a lot about violence, but it don't tell you the good part. So I'm grateful that I'm here to tell you about the good part of this Cabrini Green young woman who is still on the arise because of my God. My God is amazing. He's awesome. He's big. He's my father. And I will always acknowledge him. So I would first like to give honor to God, who's the head of my life, and for allowing me to be here on this morning. So again, my title is You Can Get Out. So let me start here by saying that I am in the comfort of my home right now. Behind me is one of the young girls that I mentor. I am the founder and the owner of I Am Her 78, which stands for I'm choosing purposely every day that I live to live in a healthy environment while rejoicing the number 78 in the end of my new beginning, but not just my new beginning. whoever I may come in contact with to be able to pour into what I've gone through. So I mentor young girls and women and where they are and helping them to get to where God wants them to be. So I believe in planting seeds, and I want to acknowledge Dr. Shamika, who's my best friend, for sticking by my side, us being apart at some time that God allowed, and then bringing us back together even stronger. So just want to acknowledge her right now as well, and just say I thank God for your life, woman of God. And thank God for what he's doing, what he has done, and what he's continuing to do in Women Who Lead Connect. So let me open up just by saying I am a mother of 5 sons. I'm a wife. I am a daughter to 5 brothers. I am a twin, the only girl, the baby girl of my family. So for those of you who are the baby of your family, you know what that felt like or feels like, or, all of those good things. So of course, I was spoiled when I was young, but I went through some challenging times in my life where I went silent for a period of time. And with the help of Dr. Shamika in publishing, Mountain Publishing Company, with helping me to get out my story to other people, just to let you know that God can bring you out, that you are not held bound. Do not be afraid of who you are, but stand boldly and tell the enemy that it's over. It's over today. I am the co-author and author of my last book that I dedicated back to other women, but I just want to speak on breaking the code of silence this morning. One of the books that I co-authored in with the help of Dr. Shamika and the other amazing women. In that book is where I got a chance to really open up and dive in, to tell my story. And the next book, God uses uncommon women to do extraordinary things inside of there. Again, the co-author, I was able to dive in to talk about the birthing of I Am Her 78. And then now my own book, where I got the chance to dedicate it back to women, I Am Her 78. So just glad that God has taken me different routes in my life. But I want to tell you about me. I am a young girl who was molested. I did speak upon it, did let someone know, but they didn't do anything about it. Instead of them doing something about it, I was asked, did it really happen? So I went silent from there, of that happening to me. It was someone very dear to me, but I'm grateful that I'm able to talk about it today. At the age of 15, found out that I was pregnant 4 months. Didn't get the option on whether that I, didn't get the choice to choose if I wanted to keep it or not, but I was forced. But because of my mom, and I thank God for my mom, she wanted to protect me. That was her way of protection. So whatever she's gone through in her life, I don't know that part, but I was forced to have an abortion, full-term baby, 2 days. And after that, it left me with fear and me aborting 6 more times. So a total of 7 times that I've aborted my babies, because that's what I was known to do. And I thought that it was okay to do that. And not only babies, but I started to abort things in my life because I feared the woman that I was becoming. And I'm here to share with you guys that, with all of that being said, that I never thought as they say, a million years that I would be where I am now. But I know it's because of the different people that God would put in position to speak your name without you even knowing it. And, me just weeping in the late midnight hours, praying about the things that I wanted to see happen in my life. And to the point where I started to give up. I wanted to commit suicide back in 2004 because I didn't want to live anymore. But with the help of my family, with the help and support of those who were very supportive of me, and God, I was able to overcome that tragic time in my life. So enough said about the history part of Toy. I want to tell you guys where I am now and tell you guys that you can make it out. So I am now the I'll start here. God will use people to go before you to lay the foundation, speak your name, and then reach back to grab you to come to where they are. But God used my mother this time in this situation that I'm about to tell you guys. So she was at a community called Aspired Living of LaGrange, where during the pandemic, mom reached out. I'm sorry, you hear a dog in the background. Where my mom reached out to, ask if I could come and be a part of their community to be the program coordinator. So I said yes. Okay. With me saying yes, I was given the opportunity to pour into other seniors and other staff there. With me doing that, at that time, I didn't think that I was suitable for that position, but God had already prepared me with I Am Her 78 to do that. So with me doing that and me already knowing how to build my program with the help of other women, I took that, I ran with it, and then that's where I landed. In the meantime, while I was there, my name kept reaching to the top without me even knowing. And one day we had a corporate that came through. They watched how, I performed, okay, inside of their company. And with that, just to go ahead, what ended up happening was I was given the opportunity to become the memory care director of a community. And it blew my mind. So I was there for a year in the midst of me prepare what God was preparing me for. With me being there for 1 year, I began to go through some changes on the job assignment that led me to again start to give up because I feared what was placed on the inside of me. You had people doubting me, saying different things, and those have been things that I've lived with in my life. What people say, what they think, all of those things, and now I've gotten to the point where what God has for me is for me, and I want to encourage you today to just to tell you what God has for you is for you. Nothing and no one can stop it or change it. What has already been put out there by God, predestined, it is going to happen. I just want to speak that on this morning to someone. But to go back to what I was saying, all those things begin to happen. People wanted to know why her? Why did she get chosen for that position? But God reminded me why. God will hide you. God will cover you. God will protect you in silence. Like you don't have to do anything. So I've been one where, because of what I've gone through, I thought that I always had to be vocal just to fight, just to get my point across. No, I don't have to do that. God is my provider, and he will do just what he said he would do in my life. So I began to be quiet. I began to weep and watch God unfold in my life and to put me in the rooms of people, again, that I never thought where I would be. I didn't think that I would ever be a memory care director. And even with me being that, God reminded me too that I am helping to cover the minds of those who can't. When you have loss in memory, that is the most important. That's the frontal lobe of the mind. So to lose a piece of that, it does something to the individual. And for me to be able to get the opportunity to dive in a little bit more to research, find out, sit in the classes, all of those great things. It's just an eye opening. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I think this is my layover because God is not done with me yet. But I wanted to say this, that from me being in that position and from me going through those things and me started to doubt myself, on July 29th, I received two calls. One was someone telling me about, Miss Toy, they're here and they're at a table and they're talking badly about you. And I told that person, I began to weep too, by the way, but I began to tell that person, I said, let me tell you something. I said, hold your head up. I said, what do you think about me? That's where we're going to leave it at. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. Right after that phone call, I received a text. In that text, it read, Dear Toy Dixon, I am such and such. I was from such and such. I have another community that I would love for you to come and build, create it, and it be your own. Okay. So with that being said, thank you, Albertise. With that being said, I am now at another community where I am allowed to build, to cultivate, to pour in, to help mold and create such an amazing atmosphere yet environment for the memory care community. And with that, I believe that God is allowing me to be there as a layover period because, again, I have my own organization that getting off the ground, and I am now living it where I am to know how to work it. So I want to again encourage you guys that you can get out. Do not give up. Mean what you say what you mean, and know that the next woman, the next young girl, the next man or young man is waiting on you to arrive. So I thank you guys so much, and I want to leave you with this. I honor my body, my mind, and my mouth. I am a child of God. I am beautiful. I am chosen. I am free. I am powerful. I am more than a conqueror. I am her. You are her. Thank you guys so much. Be blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely amazing. I am her. You are her. Oh my goodness. When she said the next woman is waiting on you to survive. Oh, such a message that we oftentimes forget in the midst of the situation, in the midst of the storm. We forget that there's somebody else who hasn't even gone through the storm yet. There's someone else who they don't even know that the storm is coming. And once you get out on the other side, you'll be that guide. You'll be that light for them to be able to get through the storm as well. Super amazing. Y'all, listen, this has been phenomenal. And we're not done. Like, we're not done. You still have time to go ahead and send somebody the link, live.womenwholeadconnect.org. It's live.womenwholeadconnect.org. And listen, not only are we not done, I have another question for another ticket for the giveaway. So, you ready? Ready, 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 ready? This one is for California specifically. What year was the first Leadership Empowerment Summit? And you're going to email that answer to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. What year was the first Leadership Empowerment Summit? Again, you're going to email that to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. Now, remember, this is a ticket to California, that 4-city tour that we were talking about that you currently see on the screen. So we know California is coming up in June of 2024, a few months away. And then we have Texas and Georgia, and then ending out the year in St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands, December of 2024. Guys, you want to be there in the room. Oftentimes we have a virtual piece, and the virtual piece is fire. I'm telling you. But being in the room, there is something significant that happens when you are in the room. So I'll ask the question one more time, and then we'll go ahead and get into our next speaker. The question is for a ticket to the California event. And the question is, what year was the first Leadership Empowerment Summit? And you're going to email that answer to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. Y'all, this continues to be a phenomenal experience. That's what it is, an experience, right? Because there are so many other summits where they just talk to you about this business plan and that business plan and writing this down and writing that down. Well, guess what, guys? We're talking to you about so much more because this is about building the best you. Listen, building the best you is so important. Because again, what did we say? When you build the best you, you're also building a foundation for you can to continue to build, but also your children and your children's children will be able to build on it as well. And so just so you know, we will be announcing the winners that send in these question answers. We're going to be announcing the winners in the Women Who Lead Connect newsletter. So when you see it, when you send it out, understand that you will be getting an email back and we will be going ahead and letting you know who the winners are in the newsletter. So be sure to make sure you're paying attention to that newsletter when it's coming out. All right, we're going to go ahead and slide right into the very next speaker. Good morning, Zakia. How are you? Thank you so much.
I am well. I am well. Good morning. Are you ready for me today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So hi everyone. I am Zakia. Busy with B Johnson. I promised God that I would introduce myself as Busy with B. So I'm Busy with B, a mom, a podcaster, a soon-to-be author. And today, today I'm going to speak on just no longer hiding. I almost didn't want to show up today for myself. So I'm just choosing to no longer hide, who God has called me to be, and sharing my story. So I'm still just trying to figure out what does that look like. And for me, I would like to just say today it's okay to show up, even if you don't feel prepared. I am So growing up for me, I'm from Washington, D.C., from one of the toughest areas in the DMV. And my motto was always to not be a statistic. So not being a statistic looked like for me, not getting pregnant as a teenager. In my time, teenagers were becoming pregnant. I wanted to graduate high school. I thought I wanted to go to college. I was just figuring it out, but I just knew that I wanted to make it out. I had a great mentor that had me in church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. She came into my life around 9 years old. I always knew that I wanted to make a difference. I always knew God had his hands on me from an early age. And I say that to say that I sit in a place of just being grateful for all of the lessons that I've been through. And I think if I was talking to my younger self, I just want to thank her. I used to be ashamed of, where I come from, my story, most of all, my story. One of my biggest challenges was always men. being molested at a very young age by my biological dad, forgetting all about that, but self-consciously not understanding that I am valuable, meaning I settled for things that, and I settled a lot. So I am in a place now where I've done the work in private, where I am enough. I've always been enough. Understanding when God was just hiding me, understanding that I wasn't always meant to be seen, understanding that it's okay to hide. And then when you're in hiding, that he's really secretly equipping you to show up one day. So I share my story as much as I can. That say something. I think my thing is just like when you've been through just a lot of trauma, it shows up in every relationship. We just think about the men. We don't think about our friendships, the friends, and just everything. So I think this year is just me showing up. And I am just grateful to just be in a room and be connected with Women Who Lead Connect. Dr. Shamika has been a great mentor, becoming a very great friend to me. And it's just, I want to serve, but I'm no longer hiding. I'm no longer hiding. So I'm learning how to just show up. I mean, it's so hard. Like, I think a lot of times people can just like look at you and, thank God, I don't look like what I've been through, and I forgive the hurt. I forgive the pain. I apologize for, I'm not always, I'm not always the superstar in everyone's story. I've hurt people too because I didn't know how to always communicate, or it just takes work. I'm out of hiding, okay? I'm no longer hiding. So it's just like, and it's constant. You're never done. You're always getting ready to get ready for the next thing. Um, and like I said, just to, kind of sum it up, I'm here in Baltimore at a speaking training. So I wanted to stick to my commitment today. But again, I'm grateful to be able to sit here and even look at the camera, and just love myself and just love who I see looking back at me. And I can stand 10 toes down with the lessons that I've been through to get me here. And I do forgive my dad. I forgive my dad, and in forgiving my dad has now, I'm gonna say my husband is coming, okay? God is preparing me. When you are loved like that by someone that you're supposed to admire and see as a dad, and see with me, I blocked it out into maybe I was 30, and my sister was the one who had all the memories that was coming back to her through dreams and stuff like that. And she was the sister that, used drugs a lot, and she was just fast, and it was hard for me to take it until I heard the pain in her voice. And it just put my guard down. And I instantly hung up the phone with her, and all my memories came back. The dark room, like my mom being so close, and my sister being right there, and my dad, like everything came back. So I think mainly I look back at all of that and no longer let it define me. Yeah, it took a while, I'm well into my 40s and I'm now telling my story in that way because it's too many brown and Black little girls who this is happening to at young ages, and they feel like they have to hide and they have to protect the people that hurt them. And it's okay to save yourself. It's okay to speak up. It's okay. So that's some of the things that I do with my nonprofit. My podcast will look different right now. It's just, I'm no longer hiding. I'm gonna tell my own story. And in telling my story, I still have to be aware of my loved ones that I have a platform. So it's a catch-22, but I'm no longer hiding the God in me. So thank you all for listening. And I think if I leave and say anything, it's just, forgiveness is power. Forgiveness is more for you. Um, like I said, I would like to thank my youngest Zakia. I I could just sit here and just envision, my transitions, my Zakias in the past, and how ashamed of Zakia I used to be so ashamed. I could remember just going to therapy and just over and over, just becoming a better version of myself, saying things out loud that I never thought I could say. And that's how I'm able to sit here, because it's okay to go back and just deal with some things so that in your forward life, you can just keep going, up and up and up and up. And so I just say it's okay to choose you. And it's okay to be hidden. When God want to hide you, it's okay. You don't have to be seen in every room. Everyone is not meant to see you. You are being protected. But when it's time to show up, God has equipped you with everything you need. So I'm fully equipped. And I'm always learning. I'm always getting ready. But I just wanted to really show up for myself today. And I'm no longer hiding. Thank you guys for listening.
The amazing things that can happen when we decide that we are no longer going to hide. Like, it's interesting because I often tell people, as an introvert, y'all, I be trying my best to stay in the back of the room. I be trying my best to stay out of the limelight, and stay out of the conversations, and stay out of the rooms where things are happening. But one of the reasons why God can use the ones that choose to stay out of the limelight, the ones that choose to be okay with being hidden, is because He values who you are. He knows that you're not going to take advantage of being in the spotlight because you weren't seeking it out. That wasn't your choice. That wasn't what you were going after. And I have to say that over the years, each step as I have moved when it comes to doing the moves of God, you get a God move, and it's like, God, you want me to go where? You want me to do what? You want me to do in how much time? Huh? You want me to write a book? You want me to start a podcast? You want me to, I don't know. But your yes is always going to be seed in the ground. It's always going to be seed in the ground. I'm like, I think about literally just a few years ago, God telling me, okay, stop the podcast. Stop the podcast. But God, as an introvert, that's the way that I talk to people. That's the way that I've been able to meet all of these different people all over the world. God, that's how I've been able to be in these different conversations. And you want me to stop it? All right, I'll stop it. All right, I want you to, I want you to shut down this part of the business. I want you to do that. And in the moment, it seems like a loss. It seems like a loss to your privacy. It seems like a loss to your peace. It seems like a loss to your finances. Can we be honest? It seems like a loss. But it's not a loss when you remember who's your father. That we serve a God that he's not lacking anything. And so even what we thought we lost, He can provide that 10 times. I remember one year where at the beginning of the year, I had an interview with somebody, and they looked at me and said, God is just saying, I don't know who's been saying 10x, 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 but God's saying He can 60x it, He can 50x it. And I was just like, I knew exactly who He was talking about. And I was like, oh, okay. You know how you be like, oh, all right. And within 60 days, I was no longer connected to that person. And it was wild because I was like, oh, well, you know what? I'll take the slow road, right? Because what we fail to realize is slow obedience is still disobedience. That part. Uh, I'll take the slow road, and I'll go ahead and I'll depart from that table at the end of the year because it's the end of the year. Start the new year fresh. That's what we think. Ooh, when we do it in God's timing, so much easier. Because I was trying to do it in my timing, and all heck broke loose. And within 60 days of me getting that word, I was no longer to the point where the person not only had them, but they had their whole team block me. But I didn't do anything wrong. Move when he say move. Y'all better catch that. As a woman in leadership, when God says move, that is the time that you move. You say, right now, God? God say right now, then it's right now. That's when we move. So thank you so much, Zakia, for that message, because there's somebody who's listening right now who's scared to move, who's scared to give that yes, who's scared to get in front of the camera, who's scared to go on stage. Because guess what? Not only are we doing a tour and you can come and be in the audience, there was opportunities for you to be a speaker for the tour. And so if you have any questions about, what, Dr. Shamika does a lot of events. She does virtual ones, she does in-person events. I think it's time for me to say yes to me and be on a stage. Send an email to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. Send the email. And even, this is the thing, be very transparent. If this is your first time, say it. That's fine. If you're still nervous about it, if you're looking and saying, all right, I feel this nudge. I don't know what it's going to look like when I get on the stage, but I feel this nudge and I want to go ahead after it. Say that. Something that I can say is about every single person that you have seen speak today, at some point, they had to go through their first day of speaking. They had to go through their day one. The day one of you being on the stage is not your day one. Because guess what? All your experience, all of everything that you've learned that comes with you prepared you for the stage. So when you get on the stage, it's not your day one. It's just your day one on that stage, but it's not your day one. Y'all, we have been rocking and rolling. So if you didn't hear, there were 2 opportunities for you to get a ticket to one of these tour dates. So I'm going to show y'all what the tour dates are again. Because there's 4 tour dates. You got California, you got Texas, we got Georgia, and St. Thomas. And so with these 4 tour dates, there were 2 questions, 2 opportunities for you to get a ticket. One was for one of the tour dates, and the other one was specifically for California. The first question was, one of the first times that I was on a virtual summit with Dr. Shamika Latte, she was having baby number, it was right after having baby number what? Send the email to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. And then the second question was, what year was the very first Women's Empowerment Leadership Summit? What was the very first one? What year was that? Again, you're going to send that email to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. That is how you go ahead and get your entry in to win one of those tickets. Now, that second question was for California specifically. Y'all know y'all want to go to Cali. Y'all know y'all want to go out there into the sun and go ahead and have some fun on the West Coast. But again, we still have 3 other cities that you can join us at. So you got California in June. You got Texas in July. September is Georgia and St. Thomas, ending the year in December. So you have some great opportunities. to not only see Dr. Shamika in person, but also to be able to connect with some other amazing women in leadership who may be just where you are, or they may be a little bit further. Because let me tell you something, reciprocity and connection and community are so important. It's so important when you are building a business, but also when you're building the best you. Because guess what you can do for yourself, you can do for others. The word of God tells us, let's love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if you can't do it for you, it's very, very hard for you to do it for yourself. Do it for somebody else if you can't do it for yourself. So we got to go ahead and take care of ourselves. We got to build ourselves up. And then once we've built ourselves up, we can go out and be able to build up other people as well. So with that being said, we got a couple minutes before Dr. Shamika is going to be coming back into the space to give you another quick word. And then we still have another speaker, and then we'll close it out for the day. But guys, how has today been for you so far? Have you gotten some nuggets? Did you take some notes? Did you give yourself a high five for being in attendance, for being in the room where it was happening? I hope so. Guess what? It doesn't end there. On Facebook, there is a Women Who Lead Connect community. There's a Facebook group where you can come in and join the conversation there as well. You can ask questions, find out when Dr. Shamika is doing events, as well as find out when she has opportunities for you to be on stage. Not just that, you have the newsletter as well. That comes out in your email. Now, if you're saying Altavis, I don't know if I'm signed up for the email. No worry. Send out an email to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com and let them know, hey, I want to be on the newsletter email list. And guess what? They can definitely put you on that list. Listen. Oh, Heidi said it in the chat. Listen, ladies, you dropped nuggets today. Thank you. Thank you. Something Dr. Shamika said is, listen, you're in here. That means there's value. There's seed that you're sowing, and it's a seed that somebody out there needs. Even if you're watching, there is a seed that you have on the inside of you that can change the dynamic of somebody else's life. It's so I think about the woman that was told to go get empty jars and fill them with oil. Could you imagine if somebody told you right now, go get all the empty jars you can get, and you had to go to your neighbors and say, well, how many empty jars do you need? I don't know. Enough, I guess. I don't know. We talk about in hindsight, we're like, man, I'd have got trash cans, and I'd have asked, could I borrow somebody's Olympic pool? And I'd have asked, could I borrow this and borrow everything and anything to kind of fill it up. But in the moment, you are right here in the moment. And God is saying, go get whatever you need so that way you can fill it up with what I'm giving you right now. How many things did you go get? Did you go get anything? Did you write down notes? Did you reach out to somebody else and say, hey, I'm working on this. I need somebody to hold me accountable, because accountability matters when you are building the best you. So with that being said, I'm checking to see if Dr. Shamika is in the room yet. She's not in the room just yet, but no worries, y'all. She'll be coming in very soon. And that's another thing, y'all. When you have people that are willing to pour into you, listen, be willing and ready to pour in as well. Some of you may be saying, Altavis, I'm not ready for the stage. I can't do it. Don't make me. You can't make me. I get it. I understand. But you may not be ready for the stage yet, but you can serve. Your serving can be the seed that you sow into Women Who Lead Connect. And that seed will produce a harvest for whatever you're building. It's the same thing. Trust. There are so many people that come and just serve. They come, they help set up. They help with, getting the speakers together. They help with social media. They help with this, they help with that. It makes a big difference, but it's always going to be seed in the ground. And something that we pray for when it comes to Women Who Lead Connect is that every time somebody sows a seed in this good ground, that they receive a harvest bigger than what they could ever imagine. Bigger than what they could ever imagine. So, no matter what it is that you're trying to build, including when you're trying to build yourself, the seeds you sow definitely play a big part in that. So, with that being said, let's see. Dr. Shamika, are you ready? Let's see if she's in the building just yet. We may still have a couple more minutes. So what I'll do is I will bring on our next speaker, which is Miss Hunt. How are you, sis? Thank you so much for your yes today, and you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is so awesome to be here on today, and I am excited to be in the presence of everyone, all of the speakers that have gone forth on today, and even everything that has been spoken thus far. Just a little bit about me. I am a magnificent mother of 11. I'm a serial entrepreneur, consultant, author, and speaker. I am definitely an example of what a girl or a woman can do when she shifts from being a victim to a victor and from surviving to thriving. I know what it is firsthand and to experience and know what hopelessness can look like. I grew up in the shadow of an addicted parent, the victim of generational abuse, survivor of domestic violence, and an inheritance of poverty. For years, and years, I was trapped by the consequences and the circumstances that sometimes we bring on ourselves, but also some by others, but a lot which were beyond my control or making. And within that, I was introduced to the power of and the need to educate my mind so that I could mature my thinking and to expand my ability to dream. I was challenged to empower my heart through healing and forgiveness, which we all struggle with at some point in our lives. And my passion grew to reach girls and women who were either socially or traditionally disenfranchised with tools of empowerment so that they could also be able to heal and grow their inner selves while revealing the truth of who they are apart from their circumstances. So, any circumstance that any of us on here may be or have gone through that will help us continue our journey of healing and of success. It's so awesome just to be a part of this network and be a part of everything that's transpiring today. And the words that have come forth set everything up that is going to be spoken about in my section today. And I'm so grateful because going last, sometimes it's can be a scary thing and trying to understand the way that everything will be set up and leading up. And when I tell you everything was set up today, for the very word that I have that God has given me on today. So, my title today is going to be Gracefully Bold Women Leading with Faith, Courage, and Conviction. The summit, Building the Best You Summit, and Women Who Lead Connect. All of that aligning with the very word to come forth on today. So, with the powerful theme of gracefully bold and women leading with faith, courage, and conviction, we live in a world that often challenges us. It challenges the authority and capability of women. And it's essential for us to embrace our boldness with grace, rooted in unwavering faith in God and guided by deep conviction. Everything that I named off, very minimal, because we know that as women, we experience so many things in life. And sometimes we can minimize the very things that we go through, whether it be in the home, in ministry, in the community, in our families, as well as the workplace. As women who lead, we not only lead within our homes, but we also lead outside of the homes. And when we leave from the kitchen table, some of us go and we sit at the boardroom table, and we have to be able to learn how to navigate when we are leading in that capacity and lead with grace. And when we lead with faith, courage, and conviction, we're able to overcome a lot of the hurdles that life throws at us. As we look at some of the scriptures, we find numerous examples of women who displayed remarkable boldness in their leadership roles. When we look at Deborah, from being a fearless judge and prophetess and judges, and Esther, the courageous queen who risked her life to save her people in Esther. These women exemplify the strength and resilience that come from walking in faith and boldness. If we could only have just a little bit of the faith, the resilience, and the boldness that each one of these women did as examples within the Word of God, we would be and be able to overcome and move from surviving to thriving so much quickly and so much quicker within the work that we do, even as being parents, in the work that we do within learning and being able to take those stepping stones to be able to grow within our careers, being able to expand our personal businesses. We have to be in a place where we're bold enough to be able to step up and say, I'm ready to lead, and I'm leading with grace and confidence that I will be able to do this with the keys that you've given me. Today, I want to give you 10 keys that are inspired by the Word of God that will help us in being able to, on our journeys, and being able to lead with grace and with boldness. Sometimes we forget our keys, and we walk into rooms where we forget who we are. We forget our confidence. We forget our strength, and we forget the very being that is built up within us, and the resilience that has been built up within us over the years. And sometimes we have to reach in and grab that, because a lot of the things that we've gone through, sometimes we will allow that to put a mask over our face, a mask over our gifts, a mask over the anointing, and a mask over the very things that God has called us to walk in the very vision He's given us, in the destiny that He's called us to. And we have to pull those keys out and begin to operate and open every door that He's given us the keys to. That first key is going to be prayer. In Philippians, the 4th chapter, it begins with the prayer, and seek God's guidance in all of your endeavors. Everything that you do, begin with prayer and seek God's guidance. Key number 2, the key of wisdom. Proverbs. We seek wisdom from God and use it to make sound decisions. We have to be able to be in a place in our lives, in everything and every decision that we make on a daily basis, to be able to use wisdom within that. Because if we walk in the very thing of ourselves and in our flesh, we can't get to where it is that God is desiring us to be if we're not, 1, seeking prayer, and 2, wisdom. The third key is going to be courage. Joshua speaks a lot about courage. Be strong and courageous, knowing that God is with you wherever you go. Wherever you go, not being in a place where you feel so isolated. Many of us have been through and gone through different levels of abandonment, different levels of abuse, different levels of anxiety, depression. And we have to be in a place where we have that courage that we can utilize and grab hold of the wisdom and the power of prayer that God has put within us. The fourth key is going to be humility. First Peter talks to us about that very well. Clothe yourselves with humility as you lead, as the women who lead within this network and those connected to this network. Acknowledge that your strength comes from God, not from Dr. Shamika, not from Altavis, not from Toy, not from Gia, not from Heidi, not from Natasha. It comes from God. And everything that we do to begin to connect one another, everything that we do to go out and empower and equip and educate those that are connected and in this network, it's to lead to the very being that is within you, so that you can then connect and lead others. Number 5, the key of resilience. Isaiah talks about resilience, and we wait on the Lord and draw strength from Him in moments of weariness. when we feel ourselves slipping back into those moments of where we've overcome and where we've survived, when we've survived the bullying, when we've survived the rape, when we've survived the emotional abuse, we have to look back and we have to stand on that resilience that God has given us and poured into us. Key number 6 is going to be the key of integrity. The key of integrity. Proverbs talks to us about integrity, and we have to lead with honesty and integrity, knowing that the Lord delights in righteousness. The integrity that we use to stand on, to be the example for our children, to be the example for our families, to be the example for those that we lead on a daily basis. Everybody on here may not be one that leads. You may be one that supports those that lead, or may be one that aspires to lead. In that, if you take these very keys and be able to apply them to your past situation, to be able to overcome, to find strength within yourself, to be able to step into the next phases of your life, you then will be successful. Number 7, the key of love. The key of love, First Corinthians talks to us about this. Let love be the foundation of your leadership, showing compassion and kindness to all. Let's be honest, sometimes that's not easy, especially when you've gone through years of abuse, domestic violence, abandonment, lack. Sometimes it's really hard to love. When you feel as though you can't get to a place where you can expand that love. And sometimes we can't even get it to a place where we love ourselves. In this season, God is calling us to be in a place where we have so much self-love that it exudes and we're able to love everyone that is connected to us and that it outpours like never before. Number 8, the key of discernment. Discernment is so important in everything that we do in our daily lives and in our daily walk, in the decisions that we make. And Hebrews talks to us about this. Develop a spiritual discernment to navigate challenges and make righteous choices. Not just the right choice, but righteous choices. When we stand on the platforms that we stand on, even if it's driving the school bus, even if it's serving and flipping hamburgers, even if it's unlocking the door to be able to allow people to enter in, when we're serving in the community, we want to serve with discernment. We want to navigate every challenge that comes forth. Key number 9 is the key of encouragement. First Thessalonians talks about lifting up and encouraging those around you, fostering a culture of support and empowerment. One thing about building the best you is that you have to find people that you can connect with, that can encourage you, that you can encourage, that when you feel like you're getting weak, that they're going to be there to lift your arms up, that they're going to be there to encourage and empower you. You want to be able to be in a place where you're able to pull forth that encouragement so that it overpowers the very things that may discourage, and that you can pull on the strength of those surrounding you, for the company that you keep that is going to encourage everything and build and not subtract from the very thing that you are walking in. And key number 10 is the key of perseverance. Galatians talks to us about perseverance, and it says, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. If every woman that came before you on today gave up when they were walking through an ugly divorce, when they were sitting in the jail cells waiting to be released, to be able to walk out and declare their freedom and to declare their innocence, being able to be that survivor of abuse, of abandonment, and of neglect. If that perseverance did not take place, if the resilience that was within them did not take place, they wouldn't be here today to be able to have shared and empowered you and encouraged you to be able to not grow weary, because you see the strong, empowered women before you on today. We didn't not go through the things that we went through to be in a place where we couldn't share and be of an example. And so perseverance on today. So for women who lead or aspire to lead in today's society, remember that your boldness is a gift from God. Embrace it. Embrace it with humility, knowing that the strength is found in surrendering to his will. Be unapologetic. A lot of times we apologize for being who we are, who we've been called to be, for being different, for being beautiful. Be unapologetic and know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in his image. In his image. Everything that we look through, everything that we look for, everything that we look towards, be unapologetic. And may the grace of God empower you to lead with faith, courage, and conviction, and that you may inspire others to do the same, and that we may be able to walk boldly in the path that God has set before us, knowing that he goes before us and equips us for every good work. And I will leave you with my mantra on today that has gotten me through some very difficult times, whether it be in home or in my personal life. And that's #sugar. Stand up, girl, and represent. Represent in everything that you do, every decision you make, and empower to empower others. Thank you. I turn it back over to you, Altvise.
Yes, indeed. So getting some things done in the green room as we are rocking and rolling and ending out the summit. We still have a few more things for you guys. And y'all, like, if you haven't heard, there's a tour going on. And so I have one more opportunity for you to be able to get a ticket. And this one is for a ticket to Texas. So thank you so much, Quantika, for your yes and for your message. Oh my goodness, guys, this has been an amazing opportunity for you again to not just get filled, but to be in a room with other people that you can say, I know that story. I've lived that story. I'm living that story. And there may be something that you have for one of the speakers or something that you need from one of the speakers, but that's why you're here. So you can definitely connect. So that last question, this is for a ticket to Texas. Ticket it to Texas. And make sure you're putting that in the subject line is you're answering the Texas question. So that way they know that it's from you. Okay. And what it's for. So the question is, what is the mission of Women Who Lead Connect? And you must answer by 1:10 p.m. today. What is the mission of Women Who Lead Connect? So remember, your answer to the question, you're going to email that to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. That's executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. Send your answer there. Put in the subject line which question you are answering, and the winners will be shouted out in the newsletter, I can talk, from Women Who Lead Connect. So you will receive an email that is from Women Who Lead Connect, and it will have the newsletter with the winners there in the newsletter. So with that being said, it is come to my attention that we have another speaker in the room, but also Dr. Shamika is back in the green room. So Dr. Shamika, do you want me to pull you in now or you want to wait?
You can go ahead and pull me in now. 1 second. I'm making a big fuss over here. Give me 1 second. I'm literally creating. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Hey.
We sure can.
I'm sitting here creating my speaker station for the Build and Invest You Summit right now, right? And maybe I want to share something. I'm not going to be before you long because of course we do have another speaker, and Altavis is going to close out so strong, so awesome, so amazing that she's going to also leave you with some nuggets. But before I even go there, I just want to say thank you again. Thank you to every speaker who came on the stage thus far. Oh, wow. Just thank you for the power that you bring. Thank you for your laboring, even in studying and in preparation to get here to empower the next woman. I like something that Quantika said, and I'm down for that just as well. I'm like, listen, don't do it for me. Don't do it for the other person. Don't do it for me because you like me. And I just like do this thing for the glory of God. If you guys didn't know, Women Who Lead Connect is a professional organization of women leaders from around the world who come together in spaces to make sure that the next woman is built up from our very own lane of expertise, right? But one of the things that we do in this professional arena of speakers and leaders and influencers, our core competence is that we do this for the glory of God. Now, for me, God is my everything, okay?
Oh, we lost Dr. Shamika for a moment, so we're going to give her a second for her to be able to come back in. But again, if you haven't heard her already, then stay tuned because Dr. Shamika literally has put together such an amazing experience, but not just that, she continues to create this platform for women to be able to stand on the platform, to be able to come to the community and get what it is that they need. With that being said, Dr. Shamika is back in the room.
And I'm back. I'm back online. And I wanted to create something that I didn't have to compromise who I was. And how many know a lot of times there's not always a space for you. Everybody don't give you a space at their table. So my takeaway from my life is create your own table. And when I began to tap into even more of my purpose and my mission and my heart for God, I had to create a table for women who were like me, some who were not invited, some who didn't know how to find her place in this industry, a person who knew her voice was trying to find it in the midst of the other voices that were around, some of the power players in this industry. And I was the servant. So I was in the room. I saw how people were treated. I saw how people were.
Oh, Dr. Shamika froze a little bit, so we're going to give her a second to come back in. The joys of doing things on the road, y'all. We managed to make it through though, right? 100%, 100%. So as Dr. Shamika comes back online, um, I do want to make sure that, again, if you have not done so already, go ahead and connect with the Facebook group that is Women Who Lead Connect on Facebook. You want to go ahead and connect with the group because you can connect with some of the speakers there and also connect with other people who may even be in the area that you're already in. Not just that, there's tips, resources, and also always some motivation being shared in the community as well. I share personally in the group as well. And it'll be some interesting things, some fun things, but a lot of it is motivation because as women in leadership, We understand the day to day. We understand that not everybody around you may understand what you're doing. They may not always support. And so, again, finding that firm foundation is important if we want to keep moving forward. We want to make sure that we get to this end zone of whatever it is God has set before us, that journey, that plan. And it's interesting because you think about it, we didn't know that we would be all connected here today as part of the plan, right? We didn't know that we would all be connected here today as part of the plan. But we're all connected here today as part of the plan. And so no matter what part of the plan you're supposed to take part in, we are the hands and feet of Christ. So whether you are the hands, the heart, the feet, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, whatever part you are, whatever part you play, your part is valuable. And they say you never understand the value of your pinky toe until you don't have it. It stabilizes you, but it's not something we think about until we don't have it. You are valuable. You are for sure enough valuable. You are valuable to the Women Who Lead Connect community. You are valuable to your family, your loved ones. You are valuable for you. We talk about building the best you. You got to understand the value of who you are when you come to the table. And I believe Dr. Shamika is back in the room.
Let me tell you, I'm like, listen, everything that I do for me is always a teachable moment, right? It's always a teachable moment, but it's also a moment that it's like rising your power, regardless of what happens and regardless of what we go through with all the interruptions in life, still rise up, still show up. And don't look at what might look like a mistake or an error in front of everybody else and let that make you fall. I love moments like this when the internet interrupts. I don't know if Altavis told you, but our last Building the Best You Summit, the lights shut off. The power in the neighborhood. I gave everybody in the building the opportunity to leave and go home. We were already doing the summit earlier that morning. The lights shut off and God still moved. God still moved. We had a White House representative at the Building the Best You Summit, and she said, "You know what? We would have never went on. We would have sent everybody home." She said, "I never seen that happen before." Let me tell you, I'm here today to tell you that I was going to disrupt the mean girl hospitality. I was going to disrupt the standards that people put into place, or these steps or these systems that put it in place and said, this is what it takes to build the best you. First of all, building the best you is for God's glory, no matter what. That's the power that you sit in. That's the power that you grow in. God, how do you want me to show up? What is it that I need to do? How do you want me to live? What do I say? How do I pray? How do I give? How do I serve? How do I serve even when it hurts? How do I give when I got $5 in my pocket and you're asking me to give my $5? But God, I'm going to give it because I need to see what you're going to produce in me. I need to see if I can survive without everything in this world. As long as I got you, God, I got everything. So when I experience these interruptions in my life, I'm like, Lord, what are you building in me? I'm here to tell you that God is building something in you with all the disruptions. Oh, yes, it's testing your patience. It's testing your will to endure and to persevere. It's testing your friendship. Are you friends with them because of what they can do for you? Or are you friends with them because of what God can do through you? Y'all got to hear me on today. That's what we do in Women Who Lead Connect. That's what I do. I'm sorry. I do. Forgive me. I do. Let's build together. Let's win together. I can't do it on my own. No business is made for you to buy your own products and services. No, you do it for her so that she has resources, so that she has a place and a community to come to get built back up, so that when she pours out into her community, oh, they're getting someone who's strong, who felt weak, but she's strong. Y'all, many years ago, at 19 years old, I was losing my vision, my breath, my hearing. I was losing my mind. I had to learn how to walk again and how to talk again. So when you see me come here before you, it's because I have a story. You have a story. Use that story. What is your purpose? Why are you here? Like, why are you here? Why are you here today at Women Who Lead Connect? To the speakers, why are you here? Why did you sign up? See, I asked the questions to both individuals because it's not a game that we're playing. It's real life. It's real life. And you get one shot to live. And sometimes it's a long run and sometimes it's a short run. But while you are living, get to know who you are and discover your purpose. And once you find your purpose, you better live your purpose at all count, because somebody's life is counting on you to show up. Y'all hear me? Can we say that in our green room and also on live.womenwholeadconnect.org? Somebody's life is waiting for me to show up. And one of those people, that it's me. It's me, y'all. I have to show up for me. The other person's life is you. The other person on the other end. And you know who the other one is? I don't want to say person. One is? It's God. He knew you before you were in your mother's womb. He knew that they would be attacked. Why? Because they attacked him. When people are attacking you, they're just not attacking you. They're insecure in their own purpose. They feel like they have limited resources, so they come to you to try to pour out all the negativity. Just don't be a well from them to pour in, honey. Focus on your dreams. Focus on pursuing them. Focus on being an action taker. Get up and do it. Come on, y'all. That's why I did all the things I did this weekend. Because my husband said, he said, go, baby, go. I want to speak those words to you all today. Where you want to travel, the stages you want to be on, go. Will you keep the lights on in your house? Yes. But will you keep the lights on in your life? Come on, y'all. That's it. That's all. This Building the Best You Summit has been absolutely phenomenal already. And we still have 2 more people that are going to go up. Please connect with us at womenwholeadconnect.org. Join the community. Join this community of women who are leading. Let us be the next voices together. Join us on tour, California, Texas, St. Thomas, and in Atlanta. Pray in the background. Pray for the women who will be there who don't know who they are. Pray that we strip every title off of us and get into assignment. Let us cry out in this.
Orlando, I'm gonna be here in a minute.
Let us cry out. Let us build up and let us become shifters and change agents in the earth realm for the glory of God. Listen, I love you. I'm super excited to see who answered the questions, who would get the free tickets. And if you are someone who wants to be on stage, I welcome you to do a speaker interview. Come on, join us on tour, because your voice matters. Thank you so much, Altavis, for what you give all the time. Thank you to each and every speaker who's on here on today. Thank you for your time. Love you very, very much. And let's continue with the conclusion, or the soon conclusion, of the Building the Best You Summit here today. See you on social media. See you in our email box. And see you somewhere on tour. Be blessed, y'all.
Y'all, again, thank you so much, Dr. Shamika, for not only creating the platform, but for also opening up the platform. There are so many people that create platforms that don't open them up, that don't allow others to be in that space out of fear, out of jealousy, out of many different reasons. But we thank you so much for not only your yes, but being able to open up the platform and the opportunity for so many others. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for our very next speaker, Cynthia. Thank you so much for your yes, and the floor is yours.
Hey, Sugarfoot. Thank you, Altaviz and Shamika. I appreciate you, honey love. Hello, everybody. I just want to start with, won't he do it? Honey, won't he do it? God is amazing, okay? I've been going through the flux, y'all, just like life does. You go through things and you really learn how strong you are and what you can really accomplish. So, in the midst of everything, one day I laid there and I was in the bed and I was just like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. I don't know where you gonna want me to go. I just don't know. I said, I throw it all in your hands. Let your will be done. And then right after that, there was another business opportunity for me, and I'm becoming a financial coach. But besides that, my point is, God has been just opening doors ever since I literally put it all in His hands. And with being a stroke survivor, so let me tell you a little piece about that. So I had a stroke 10 years ago. I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't swallow, couldn't remember nothing. I was messed up at 31 years old. My kids was 2 and 5. They watched it all happen. And my thing was, they saw me fall, they gonna watch me rise. Well, with all of that and being human, of course, I just felt overwhelmed. And I felt like, at first, I felt like, why me? But then something happened in me. And then God triggered something in me to go, why not me? Who can do it like me? I'm the only one who can do it like me. Like, I'm Cynthia Joy with an I, because God had his eye on me the whole time. And I didn't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning. But in the midst of it, of course, I got angry, because in trying to learn how to walk, talk, swallow, maneuver, be a mom, be a wife, just be myself, I was no longer that person. And I didn't know what that looked like. So I was upset, because I'm like, at 31, I'm drooling. My face is messed up. I can't be a mom like I want with my kids. And it was just so much. So my faith kind of deteriorated, yes. But even though that happened, that's a part of your growth. At least for me, it was, because over the years, with it still deteriorating, he kept showing up in my life, but I wasn't really seeing it because I wasn't open to see. So once I laid in that bed and I really did put it all in his hands, my eyes opened on a whole new level. And then life started to kind of unravel, and things still happen. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely still trials, and they're going to always be trials if you're a child of God. But that brings you closer to him. And it brought me closer to my faith and knowing my resilience and being able to teach my kids of what they can accomplish despite what life throws at them, because that's what life is going to always do. So despite it, I have to find that strength in you. And I'm finding it even more now that I've really opened my heart and my eyes and my mind to what the Lord has to offer for me. So his plan is bigger than me. I don't know what's to come for my future. I just know I'm not going to quit. I know I'm about to earn money that I never earned before. And I know I'm about to change lives on a level that I've never changed them before. And that's the part that feeds my soul, feeds me purpose. So what I'm saying to you is, find your purpose. Always usually comes in the midst of your storms. So don't let your storms take you out. Use your storms as a stepping stone, and remember that without your storm, your flowers can't grow. You need the water. So sometimes it's heavy, it's cold, it feels like a burden. But the beauty that comes from it, it changes your mind. So be open to newness, be open to uncomfortability, because in being uncomfortable, your future becomes a lot more comfortable. Uncomfortability lasts a little while in the midst of the trial. And you'll find your strength and your purpose if you stay the course. Sometimes that road is going to be winding and twisting and turning, and sometimes it's going to be a straight path. Sometimes you're going to be able to see what's ahead, and sometimes you can't see. You have to have faith on what's on the other end. And if you're sowing the right seeds, you already know what's going to fall with it. It can't good. Nothing can come from good but good. Can't nothing come from positivity but positivity. So speak it into you. Feed it to the world. The energy that you give off is the energy you're going to get back. Don't allow your trauma and your pain to steal from you, because we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to smile. We all deserve to walk in God's purpose. We all deserve to be perfectly imperfect, just the way we intended, making mistakes along the way so we can be able to reach one and teach one how to not make the same mistakes we made. And it's all a part of life. And sometimes it's heavy, but that's all okay. That's your strengthening too. Allow life to strengthen you, to build your muscle. You are strong. You are courageous. Every day then you get up out your bed and you take a foot forward and you find another way to get through it, you're winning. Every time you refuse to quit, you're winning. Every time you say, I can, you're winning. Every time you say, I got this, believe it, because you're winning. It's not easy to do that, but it's definitely possible. But you have to speak it first. Once you start to speak these things, you'll believe it and it'll resonate within your spirit and you'll walk in that truth. And it will be exactly that. And you'll find what's meant for you. And know that you're going to have a lot of moments where you're going to fall. But it's just like a toddler learning to walk, right? They fall over and over and over and they laugh about it. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they get hurt. But they still get up. So in the midst of you trying to find your journey, because we don't know what it is right now, we're all just trying to figure it out. But if you trust in the word and you really believe in that word, it's going to happen for you. You got to keep getting up, though. You got to keep believing in God's truth and in his purpose for your life and just get up. You won't get up for nobody else. Get up for you. And if you don't have that in you right now, get up because God created you to get up. Your feet work. As long as you got those, baby, get up. And if you got to pull yourself up on a chair, that's okay too. Just never stop believing in you. You are created with a purpose. Your pain has a purpose. Your story has a purpose. Your heart has a purpose. You yourself have a purpose. But you can never know what that purpose is until trial and error. You get out there and just seek until you find it. That's how you get it. Seek, find your purpose, and get the things that's meant for you. Because only God knows what's meant for you. And the only way you're going to find what he has for you is to step out of your own way and do what you need to do for you. And trust every process. Nobody said it was going to come easy, but it's necessary. And you would never know how strong you are until strong is the only thing you can be. And you got to get up and keep moving because you got your babies looking at you. Or because somebody told you what you weren't going to be able to accomplish. What you wasn't going to be able to accomplish. Don't let nobody tell you what you can accomplish. Only God knows that. And you'll find out if you keep going. Don't ahead. Forward thinking. Go with those twists and those turns, unafraid and unapologetic, knowing that your creator got you. Trust it, believe it, nurture it, love it, and use it as a stepping stone to get to that next plateau. I love that life has a way of putting you in situations where you're like, man, I didn't know I can do that. Believe it, Sugarfoot, you did it. So keep stepping in your truth, honey. You will never know until you just go. I like that. No. But for real, you won't. So always find that strength in you to push through whatever it is that life throws at you, because it's always going to throw you something, but you can handle it. Know that you are loved, you are appreciated, you are worthy, you are everything you're meant to be. I appreciate you. Always find that strength in you, honey. I can't stress it enough, because faith without work is dead. You can have as much faith as you want, but if you don't put in that work, you ain't going nowhere. So I need you to put in that work for you, for your future, for your grandkids' future, for your life, because God still got breath in your body for a reason. Trust the process, baby. I love you. Thank you for listening. and stay blessed by the best. Knowing that there's nothing you can't accomplish with the strength in you, one step at a time. No matter how small the step goes, keep taking it. You'll reach your destination. I guarantee it. Ain't no other choice when you're going forward. Keep taking your steps. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And until next time, all my honeys, I love you. Thank you.
Listen, if you didn't get nothing out of today, you got some motivation for you to understand where you are and where you are trying to go. Those of you that just came in, we appreciate you for coming in. Those of you that have been rocking with us throughout the whole summit, you have been rocking and rolling. Thank you so much for taking notes. Thank you so much for being in the comments. We appreciate it. And even if you could not respond in the comments, no worries. We appreciate that as well because you were here when you could have been anywhere. But with that being said, I just have a few closing remarks for you guys, and then we will get done and be done for the day. But one of the most valuable things when it comes to building the best you is learning how to unpack that. What does that mean? What comes with being the best you? And so there's three things that I really want you to take note of as you move forward and move past today. Because I don't just want you to take what you got today and put it to the side or just, put it with the rest of your notes. I want you to take what you got today and I want you to be able to move with it. I want you to be able to implement, right? And so the very first thing is you have to accept responsibility for you. When we think about the story of Esther, even though Esther, when we look at the story, it makes us feel like, oh, she came into this opportunity. But in all actuality, she was snatched from her family after having her parents who had been snatched from her. But she took responsibility for who she was in that moment. Who you are today is valuable. There's something that you have to offer. No matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter how you look, what size you are, how tall or how short you are, there's something of value in who you are today without anything extra or added to it. Take responsibility for that. Oftentimes, it's easy for us to be able to put that responsibility on someone else. It's because of them that I'm like this. It's because of them that I've been able to do this. It's because of them, and that's why I feel the way I feel. But in all actuality, you have a choice today to be whoever it is that you choose to be. For some, that means going back to school. For some, that means taking a course. For some, that means writing a book or starting a business, starting a podcast. But you have to take responsibility for YOU first. Because if not, you'll always be putting the power into somebody else's hands. And so learning to unpack being the best you and building the best you. The second thing is you got to read the instructions. So hear me out. Something that we've been talking about on our prayer call this week was reading the instructions. When you get something in the mail, most times, well, not something in the mail, but you order something and it comes in, you don't always read the instructions, or you kind of skim through it so you get the bare minimum of how it is that you need to put this thing together. Now, oftentimes that leads to you having some extra pieces or getting to a point where you don't understand what's going on. Now you got to take everything apart and start all over. Read the instructions. So as a woman of God, as a woman of faith, where are your instructions? They're in the Word of God. When was the last time you read the instructions when it came to the plan that God has for your life? When was the last time that you actually sat down and did more than just skim through it, but you actually studied it? You actually made sure that you weren't leaving any pieces out. You made sure that you weren't leaving any steps, and you made sure that you weren't skipping any steps either. Read the instructions. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, there are so many people that make it seem like it's razzle dazzle. You throw something together and then you're good to go. You're a millionaire by next weekend. That's not it. You have to know what steps are necessary for you to not only build something, but build something that has a strong enough foundation that you can continue to build. If you ever looked at the Millennial Towers, you'll see that they built this amazing towers, it's condominiums. They're beautiful. And guess what? They didn't go deep enough in order for it to have a solid foundation. They didn't follow the instructions. And because they didn't, even to this day, that beautiful building with all those beautiful condominiums in it, they're falling. It's literally leaning and sinking because it was not built on a firm foundation. God is giving you the firm foundation so that way you can build upon. No questions asked. He's given it to you through testimonies of other people. He's given it to you through the word of God. He's given it through you to you through dreams, through prophecy. He's given it to you. Have you gone back and read the instructions? And then the last piece is you got to use it. How many times do we get something from somebody and it just sits and collects dust? How many times do we get something from somebody and we put it somewhere and then we forgot where we put it? Many of you have notes that you have written out that are in notebooks on many different shelves collecting dust. They're in bags that you never open. And so he gave you the instructions. He gave you the business plan. He gave you the amazing ideas, and they are collecting dust because you have not chosen to use them. When we think about building the best us, building the best YOU, you have to be able to say, not only am I going to allow me to go to the class and the conference and get the information, but I'm going to implement it. Now I'm going to share it with somebody else. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to start the program. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to volunteer in this area. Whatever it is that's going to fit in with the plan that God gave you. How will you use what you got from today's session? How will you use what you got from the women that came and poured out their heart and gave you the instructions on becoming the best you? That's what you have to understand today. Because guess what? You're going to hear it over and over and over again. You're going to get great motivation over and over and over again, because motivation is like a shower. You need it, more than just once. Every day you need some motivation, sometimes a couple times a day, depending on what's going on. But how will you use what he has given you in order for you to not only build the best you, but now take it and help the next person build the best them? That's valuable. That's what you got here today. That's what you got through all the messages. That's what you got through the opportunity of being in the room where this discussion was happening. The next thing is on you. One of the most valuable things that I used to teach my clients was that don't just show up to the class. Don't just read the book. Find some piece of that you can implement within the next 30 days. Find some piece of that you can implement within the next 7 days. Decide that who you were before you got into the room will not be who you are when you walk out. Nobody can make that decision but you. And once you make that decision, it'll open up doors that you didn't even realize were in the same hallway that you were standing in. With that being said, we appreciate each and every one of you for coming and joining us for Building the Best You Summit. Dr. Shamika, the Women Who Lead Connect community, there is value in this room. This is good ground. And so if you're saying, I want to know how I can go ahead and sow a seed, I want to know how I can be a part, how can I show up, how can I volunteer, how can I be on stage, send an email to executiveassistant@womenwholeadconnect.com. Let us know that you're interested in moving forward, and you may not even know what the exact next step may be, but you're saying there's something more after this, and you don't want to just stay in the space that you were in right now. Understand that it's going to be a little uncomfortable. Understand that it's going to mean you got to do some studying. You got to read the instructions. And then you got to use what you're getting. With that being said, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Your yes for being here, man, it was valuable to all of us as the speakers, myself as the host. And guess what? I didn't even tell y'all anything about me. She, me, her. I'm Altavis, at Altavis Unmuted. I podcast host for 7 years. I have been an entrepreneur since about 2014, doing all types of things, and then realizing that I was trying to do things in my own strength that had nothing to do with my own strength. But as an influencer now, I connect with different brands from all over the world. As a podcaster, I've connected with women and men from all over the world. But it's always been about, building connections, having conversations, and helping people to become unmuted. And so when you see unmuted on my shirt, that's what it's all about. That's what this journey has been for me. Even as the introvert, I currently am an award-winning speaker, an award-winning author. I currently have 23 books that I've published. And there's another one that'll be out this year. But it's always been about becoming unmuted and stepping into something greater. And you're in the space, you're in the ground where that can be possible for you as well. So you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. We will not hold you any longer. Be sure to make sure you answer those questions. Send your answers to executive assistant at womenwholeadconnect.com. And if you haven't done so, go ahead, connect with us in the Women Who Lead Connect community over on Facebook. You can ask questions there in the community as well. And again, if you're looking to speak on the tour, 4-city tour coming to you for 2024, we want to see you in one of those places: St. Thomas, Texas, Georgia, but the first one on the list is California, and that will be in June. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.